When I was in 8th grade, I had the biggest crush on my Spanish teacher, Miss Ramirez. And early in that school year, there was a bake sale. I sold her chocolate chip cookies that she was head over heels for, absolutely loved. And I was like, she loves me. This is perfect. Match made in heaven. This is definitely going to happen. And I am just trying to get the wheels turning. What can I possibly do to win her love? And as that's happening, I'm still doing other things in the background, right? I still have other classes. I go to English class. My English teacher has an assignment to do an informational speech presentation. So I do a cooking how-to video on how to cook chicken cordon bleu. I dress up like a chef. I filmed it, and I showed it to the class. The English teacher loved it so much, she showed other teachers. Apparently, Ms. Ramirez saw it, absolutely loved it. Again, she's like, oh, that looked so amazing, so complicated. It's like really a hard dish to cook. And so she's just impressed and impressed over and over again. So I just want to keep this going. But then there was some time where not a lot was happening. There weren't many opportunities. I had other things going on in school. And so a few months are going by. I'm getting concerned. But then sure enough, one day I come into class, into the Spanish class, and she says, in 1 week, we're going to have a Spanish food showcase in class where everyone is going to make their own dish and bring it in. And I looked her in the eyes and I was like, you did this for me, didn't you? Like that's what I was thinking, just for me. This is just for me, right? I was like, I'm going to impress you. So I think and I do some research. I'm like, what is the most impressive dish I can come up with? And I sign up on the sign-up sheet, and she sees it and says, I'm going to do the flan, which is like a famously difficult dish, even for adults, right? And I don't really think much about it. I sign up. She gives me that really impressed face again, and I'm like, all right, I'm on the right path. And so I do all this research. I'm reading cookbook after cookbook, looking at everything I need, getting it together. You know, there's some complicated stuff. There's caramelizing sugar that's going to be needed, so I'll make that work. The night I have to actually do it, my parents are away at some event after work, and so I'm on my own at the house, and I start cooking away. And we didn't have a double boiler, so they said, oh, you can do a water bath. So I do a water bath. I got everything going. It looks amazing, but something just doesn't feel right, and I'm waiting for that sugar to get to that perfect spot, and it doesn't seem to get there. And I'm not sure if I'm doing everything right. There's a couple other things happening in the background at the same time. And so I call my mom, and I kind of step aside, and I'm talking to her on the phone. And as I'm talking to her on the phone, explaining what happened, I just hear a loud pop and a sound like a grenade going off. And I'm just like, ah! I scream, bloody murder. My mom probably thought I'm dead. And then I grab the tray as like a shield, and shrapnel starts hitting it. There are glass shards, deliciously deadly napalm, like flying off with caramel, hitting this tray, and I'm freaking out. And finally, I calm down enough that I can compose myself and get over there, see what's actually happened. The glass casserole dish that I used for my double boiler, which I'm sure you all are realizing, glass, the perfect thing to use for a double boiler, to put directly on burners, right? It just completely obliterated this glass casserole dish, shattered into a million pieces, and I'm just so devastated. The house is a mess. The fire alarm's going off. I turn everything off, and I'm just so destroyed. I can't even try to make a new one. And I barely want to clean it up. My mom comes home, we clean it up, and we're like, we'll get something at the grocery store tomorrow. And of course, that's just not going to be great. So early morning grocery store before school, I go to the only one that's open. And of course, there isn't a flan section. There isn't even any Spanish food in this place I grew up. So I just grab like a tray of cookies, and it was clearly prepackaged. I get there, and I'm devastated when I show up, and she has to tell my mom what happened. And I'm just sitting there, and all these impressed faces that had been there before were just gone, and she was just so disappointed, and I was gutted. My heart was, as I say, like the casserole dish. It was shattered into a million pieces, and I didn't win her love, with this dish, but my cooking has gotten a lot better. So hopefully things are better now. Thank you so much.